3 harsh truths that I've learned from managing over 250 million in investment portfolio that bankers don't want you to know. I'm talking about the real playbook, the one that is used behind closed door for the ultra wealthy, and the one they conveniently forget when they are sitting across you. This episode is brought to you by Wealthy Investor Program, hosted by me, Crystal Chow, because no woman should be building wealth in the dark. So let's pull back the curtains. If you listen to the end of this episode, you will understand why the financial industry doesn't want you to understand these 3 realities, and most importantly, what you can do behind the veil of the banking world and start investing like the 1%. And this is about empowering you to stop giving your power away to people that might not have your best interests at heart. The banking world doesn't want you to be empowered because the system wasn't built for you to be free. And this is exactly why I created the Wealthy Investor Program, to show you what they won't. So let's talk about the dark side of banking from someone who has lived it. Before we dive in, you might be wondering, why should you trust me? That's a fair question. I spent 15 years in finance. 10 of these years were in traditional banking in Singapore, working at one of the top banks. And then I spent another 1.5 years in a licensed crypto exchange in Singapore. During that time, I've managed over 250 million in clients' portfolio across more than 600 high net worth individuals. I was often the youngest person in the room, and in many of these rooms, I was the only woman. I had to earn my credibility brick by brick. I studied harder than anyone. I learned to speak the language of the wealthy, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be qualified in those rooms. And here's what I realized. The ultra wealthy, they move differently. They don't follow advice blindly. They study the trends, anticipate cycles. They make bold moves. And most importantly, they don't trust their bankers fully to build their wealth for them. They build it themselves. That's what gave me the courage to eventually take a 50% pay cut to leave traditional banking and to step into crypto, to leave the safety behind and trust my instinct, because I had to study how real wealth moves. So having worked across the entire financial ecosystem, from traditional to digital, and having personally invested across them, I've seen what works and what doesn't, and what they will never tell you in a sales meeting. So everything I'm about to share with you here, it comes from lived experience, not just theory. Here's a quick disclaimer before we go further. I'm not giving you financial advice on this podcast, and I'm not telling you what to invest in. I have to say this so that I don't end up in trouble. But what I'm giving you is perspective, truth, and the map I wish I had when I started. So let's go into the first harsh truth. Bankers sell what pays them most, not what's best for you. Here's what I need to let you know. When I was working in banking, I started noticing this pattern. The products that we were encouraged to recommend, they weren't the one that was most suitable for the current market scenario. They were often the ones that gave us the highest commission payout. And the more complicated the product was, the more layered it was, the more commissions and fees could be hidden inside. And that's where things get non-transparent, and that's where money is made. I'm not saying every banker is bad, but I'm just saying that the system incentivizes sales, not empowering you. And when their paycheck depends on hitting a sales target, you decide where the priority goes. And as a banker, we earn a decent income. Sure, part of it comes from the responsibility we carry for making recommendations, managing portfolio. But a huge part of it came from the fees layered into those complex products. I saw it even clearer after I left banking. I get old clients calling me, feeling anxious and unsettled, telling me that they have invested into something they would have previously never ever invested in. So here's the belief that you might be holding, that your banker has your best interest at heart. And I get it. They are professional, polished, and they seem to be knowing what they're doing. Often, they are speaking a language that you don't exactly understand. But the truth is, they are salespeople. And the product they recommend are often the one that serves the bank's bottom line and not yours. You deserve to know that so that you can make a judgment from a grounded place to reclaim your power. Harsh truth number 2. Most bankers don't even invest in what they are selling you. This one shocked me. A few years ago, a new trading platform launched in Singapore. The user experience was smooth and it was an intuitive app. They were offering incentive for referring new clients. I set up my account immediately. I love it. And the fees were so much lower than traditional trading platform. So naturally, I was excited to share this with my friends and my colleague. I thought that telling my colleague, they would be thrilled. But as I approached some of them, the top bankers, people managing millions for their clients, some of them refused me. I was so confused. When I probed further, that's when they told me that they don't invest. I was shocked because these were the people that were recommending stock-based investments to their clients every single day, but they have no conviction to put their own money in. They didn't believe in what they were selling, or they didn't care enough to follow their own advice. I don't know. But it hit me really hard because that made me realize that a lot of bankers, they see themselves as salespeople, not investors, and definitely not a partner in your wealth journey. They're just salespeople hitting their quota. And I could never bring myself to recommend something I didn't believe in. That was one of the catalysts for me leaving because I realized I couldn't stay in a system that asked me to operate that way. And many women believe that these experts must know what they're recommending and what they're doing. But the truth is, many of them are just following a script. They're not investing alongside you, and they are not in the game. If you are giving your power away to these people who don't have skin in the game, that's giving your power away. And before we dive into the third harsh truth, I want to share with you a little more about the Wealthy Investor Program, because everything I'm sharing with you today is exactly what we unpack inside the program. So I've created this 6 months program for women like you, successful, intelligent, high earning, who feel like investing is a foreign language, who sense a distrust, who don't know who they can trust or where they can begin. And here's the thing, it's not just about learning more information. You are smart, you can Google, you can read it, but what you need, somebody who has been on both sides of the table, who has managed portfolio, seen the system, and choose to invest differently. And inside the Wealthy Investor Program, we don't just talk about strategy. We talk about the identity shift to build the portfolio that reflects your values and vision. And if this resonates with you, stay till the end and I'll share with you how to join us. So now let's get into the final truth. Truth number 3. The ultra wealthy don't trust bankers. They think independently because they know that they are the one that is driving the Porsche and the bankers are the one that is taking the train. The wealthiest client were not the easiest to sell to. In fact, they were often the hardest because they have their own insights, perspective, and they study the trends and cycles. They don't just take my words for it. They challenge me, they question, and they think independently. They don't move based on what the banks said that was good. They look at the market from a macro perspective. They look at the big picture. And when they move decisively. They weren't reckless, and they also didn't play small. They anticipated shift and always positioned themselves to get in early. That also means sometimes having to cut loss fast when something isn't working well. And the most distinctive key is that they trusted themselves. They didn't need me to validate every decision. They saw me as a partner and not a guru. And that completely shifted how I saw wealth building. Because I realized that the people who build generational wealth, they don't outsource their power. They educate themselves, get support, and they stay in the driver's seat. So the belief you might be holding is that I need an expert to tell me what to do. I'm not smart enough to invest on my own. I get it. Money feels high stake. Investing could feel intimidating. But here's the truth. You don't need someone to do it for you. You need someone to walk alongside you while you do it. Because when you understand how wealth moves, when you trust your own instincts, you stop waiting for somebody to rescue you. And that's where everything changes. So let's recap the 3 harsh truths. Number 1, bankers sells what pays them the most, not what's best for you. Number 2, most bankers don't even invest in what they're selling you. So don't take advice from people who don't have skin in the game. Number 3, the ultra-wealthy don't trust bankers blindly. They think independently. And here's what I want you to walk away with. You don't need to manage 250 million to become wealthy, but you need to move like somebody who knows how to lead a 250 million decision. And the moment I stop waiting for permission and start compounding my wealth, my courage, and my self-trust, that's where everything changes. And it can be for you too. If you are ready to stop giving your power away and start building a portfolio that actually reflects your vision, I'd love to support you through my Wealthy Investor Program. Head to my Instagram @wealthywithcrystal and DM me the word invest7. It would be my honor to help you create your financial freedom for yourself and the generations after you. You deserve to be in a room with women who are moving at your level, who are building wealth from a place of empowerment. You can't outsource wealth, but you can collapse time when you move with somebody who has walked the map. If this episode resonated, follow me and I'll be dropping more truth like this every week. And if you found this helpful, leave a 5-star review so more women can find this content and send it to a friend who needs to hear this. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay wealthy, stay sovereign, and trust yourself.